Most F1 drivers negotiate their contracts. Lance Stroll's father signs his. While other mid-grid drivers spend years building leverage through results, Lance pockets up to $24 million a year through a shell company called Golden Eagle Racing Ltd, in a financial loop so circular that auditors were legally forced to expose it. Let's get into the Aston Martin filings. Stroll's financial profile is genuinely strange. He earns exactly what a top-tier driver earns without any of the market forces that usually produce that number. Here's how a normal F1 salary works. A driver performs. Teams compete for that driver. Leverage builds through results, through rival offers, through the credible threat of walking away. Carlos Sainz used that exact playbook. One strong season at Ferrari, a free agency window, and he landed a premium deal at Williams. Performance created leverage. Money followed. Stroll has never needed that playbook. His 2026 base salary sits at $12 million, comparable to drivers who spent years earning that number the hard way. His leverage was established the day his father wired $200 million to buy the Aston Martin team. Every contract since has been an internal conversation, and that's before you get to the holding company. Most F1 coverage skips this part. When a team owner pays his own son, the law gets uncomfortable about it. In the UK, companies have to flag any financial transaction between a business and a person who holds significant influence over it. Accountants call it a related party transaction. The rule exists to stop executives from quietly sending company money to family members without shareholders knowing. In Aston Martin's case, it produced an accidental window into exactly what Lance Stroll gets paid, and by whom. The 2024 Aston Martin company filings contain a single line that changes the picture: a payment of $12.3 million to Golden Eagle Racing Ltd for driver services. 1 year earlier, that figure was $5.6 million. That's a 120% jump in a single filing cycle, buried in a footnote that only exists because an auditor had no legal choice but to put it there. Golden Eagle Racing Ltd is Lance Stroll's personal holding company. Aston Martin pays Golden Eagle, Golden Eagle pays Lance. It's a standard setup for high net worth athletes, but the related party rule pulled the curtain back completely. So what does that $12.3 million actually represent? Stay with me here because this next part is kind of wild. That $12.3 million lands in Golden Eagle's account from Aston Martin, but $500,000 of it goes straight back to Aston Martin, logged as sponsorship income. So Lawrence's team writes a check to his son's company, and his son's company writes one back. Same money, two directions. That's a real thing that happened. It's in the public filings. People who study this stuff call it an Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. And before anyone jumps in the comments, no, this isn't fraud. It's probably exactly what any decent accountant would structure for someone in Lance's position. But it does make one thing very clear. You're not looking at a normal team and driver relationship. You're looking at a family, and the F1 team is just where they keep some of the money. When you total everything up, it gets even more absurd. That $12.3 million is the floor. Personal sponsorships add somewhere between $5 and $10 million on top. So the realistic number is around $24 million a year. And he gets a car, free, for the entire contract. Fernando Alonso makes similar money. Lance's own teammate. The guy has 2 world titles. He spent basically his entire adult life earning the right to command that kind of salary. Lance got there the day his dad bought the team. Right, so the big question, is any of this actually justified? And I want to be straight with you. I went into this kind of expecting to just dunk on Lance the whole way through, but it's messier than that. Baku 2023, he was rapid. Istanbul pole, nobody called that. There are races where you watch him and think he genuinely belongs there. That's real. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. The problem isn't really his driving though. It's that there's no way to know what he'd be earning if his dad didn't own the team. That whole process, other teams calling, rival offers, agents playing both sides, none of that exists here. Sainz went through it last year. Norris went through a version of it. Every driver on the grid has at some point had to go and prove their value to someone who had no reason to just hand it over. Lance has never had that conversation. His 2026 extension didn't come from leverage. Nobody was threatening to poach him. It came from a decision that got made somewhere inside the Stroll family and then showed up in a footnote, which doesn't automatically make him a bad driver. It just means the $24 million doesn't tell you what it would tell you for literally anyone else on the grid. For every other driver, that number means something. For Lance, it's just what his dad decided. Anyway, is it the most expensive allowance in sport? Did he earn that? Tell us in the comments.